think that we're going to print the most amount of money ever in human history in the next, 2 to 4 years, because we have a lot of elections coming up. And, how do you get reelected? You give people free shit that they don't pay for in an obvious fashion. They always pay for it. Inflation or taxes, choose one. And then we have a lot of wars. Wars are very inflationary. Everybody around the world is increasing their defense budget to throw bombs at each other. And, then we have the money printing to pay for the war, right? So it's all building itself into a super cycle of technology and money printing that I think is going to make this particular crypto bull market the biggest one that we've seen in terms of gains of $1 trillion of market cap that is, all of a sudden going to be present in our little ecosystem.
Crypto billionaire Arthur Hayes believes the most amount of money ever printed in human history will happen over the next 2 to 4 years. He is predicting a supercycle of money printing, which will result in what he believes will be the biggest crypto bull run in history. He predicts trillions of dollars will be added to the crypto market cap. In his latest interview, Arthur broke down the impact of the spot Bitcoin ETFs and shared his thoughts on the current cycle. He points out the political motivations behind increased money printing and predicts that this will also contribute to the unprecedented growth of the crypto market. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where Arthur breaks down why he thinks the next crypto supercycle is going to send Bitcoin to $1 million per coin. Also guys, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy staying up to date with finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind.
I think we're just starting. The real bull market starts once Bitcoin surpasses 70,000 and essentially the whole crypto market cap in aggregate passes what it reached in 2021. I don't know how many trillions that was. That's when things start getting silly. That's when you start seeing all the celebrities and all the influencers start peddling whatever piece of dog shit that they're getting an allocation on. That's when we know things are really heating up. Is it too late? Well, again, it all depends on what is your investment horizon. What do you want to do with this money? Is it, I want to make 1,000x in the next week? Maybe it's too late. You're probably gonna lose all your money if that's how you think. Is it, I want to beat the inflation and fiat debasement starting today? Great. There's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's others mega cap cryptos. Maybe they're not going to go up the most because of the law of large numbers and diminishing returns from now until the top of the bull market. But at least you'll beat inflation. You'll have one of the best performing assets, versus stocks, bonds, real estate that you could own. Again, I think it all depends on what it is you're trying to do. And there is no easy button. Obviously, everyone on crypto Twitter and TikTok and Instagram wants to say yeah, I started driving a Lambo 1 week after I started trading. Maybe you should join my paid group. Don't do that. That's how you lose all your money very, very quickly. Anyone who's good at trading spends all day trading, and it's a full-time job. There is no path. There's no shortcut to this. So I think if you're thinking in your mind, I need to make 1,000x on the next crypto I buy in the shortest possible amount of time, put down your Trezor or your Ledger or your MetaMask and go outside and go for a walk. Don't trade crypto because you're gonna lose all your money. Well, I think at the end of the day, we know that they're going to print money to save the banking system. We just don't know when it's going to happen and then what the program is going to look like. They're not going to call it quantitative easing. Or not going to call this thing that they called it before because that's politically not suitable. They'll come up with a new alphabet letter name for it. And, people like me and others will say, oh, actually, guess what, guys? If you really look at how it works, it's printing money. And I think Bitcoin is very attuned to that. We saw the price go from 48 to 38,000. I know I was calling for lower, didn't happen. We've broken above 50, so we're hovering around there right now. I think that after hundreds of years of central banks bailing out indebted financial institutions, and the first too big to fail bailout was the Bank of England in 1773 with the East India Company, when they were over indebted and everyone owned their stock and said, oh shit, we're going to go bankrupt. Please lend us money. And because all the bankers owned the stock, they took the public money and gave it to the East India Company and bailed them out. So that was the first major bailout we've done. And every single time there's been a crisis, there's been a bailout. Bitcoin knows this. We're so attuned to this that we know that if New York Community Bank is the harbinger for future bank failures, then we know the response is printed money. So we're not going to fall on that news, which would be, financial crisis. We love financial crisis because financial crisis means more fiat, more debasement, more inflation. And this is the whole point of crypto and DeFi, is to build a parallel financial system, which is not affected by that sort of debasement, and therefore prices actually go up. So the more stress that we see in the US financial system, the more that Bitcoin is going to preempt the move of money printing. And also, I think tech and AI stocks are in the same boat as well. Anything that doesn't need a bank loves financial crisis. Tech companies don't need banks. They have essentially infinite profit margins once they've created really good software. And they don't need to finance their CapEx through the banking system. They love printed money. Crypto is the antithesis to the TradFi system. When printed money happens and you debase, the value of time and human labor, we rejoice and we say, great, fuck you, we're going to take Bitcoin to 1 million, right? So I think these are the two sectors that will, even if there is a financial crisis, will be very well owned and will probably preempt the eventual money printing response. And there's also the halvening, and people have a lot of theories about how that affects mining supply. But I think, and there's also sort of like, does crypto fit in with AI? I know I've been out there pushing that sort of narrative, like an AI needs to use decentralized money and decentralized compute power, decentralized storage solutions, if they're really to be a pure economic actor that sits outside of, how we humans do things. So that's a potential vector as well. And then, yes, I think that we're going to print the most amount of money ever in human history in the next, 2 to 4 years, because we have a lot of elections coming up. And, how do you get reelected? You give people free shit that they don't pay for in an obvious fashion. They always pay for it. Inflation or taxes, choose one. And then we have a lot of wars. Wars are very inflationary. Everybody around the world is increasing their defense budget to throw bombs at each other. And, then we have the money printing to pay for the war, right? So it's all building itself into a super cycle of technology and money printing that I think is going to make this particular crypto bull market the biggest one that we've seen in terms of gains of $1 trillion of market cap that is, all of a sudden going to be present in our little ecosystem. I think it's a great thing that we've created this new financial system, and for 15 years, it was ignored. The Winklevi twins filed their first ETF application in 2013.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they got one in the end. 10 years later, Larry Fink files his in June of 2023. 6 months later, he gets an ETF, right? And so that tells you all you need to know about what this ETF is and who is behind it. Is it a crypto native thing to help, expand the financial freedom of the world? Absolutely not. Is it a way to sequester fiat dollars that want to earn a return in fiat using what they think is new technology? Absolutely. It's a trading product. It makes fees for BlackRock and Fidelity and all the other major asset managers who've scooped up. I mean, you probably know the numbers better than me, however many billions in AUM over the last 4 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So it's been the most successful ETF launch in capital markets history. That should also tell you, like, what is the problem that it's supposedly trying to solve, which is, a global race to how much money can we print. And it's not an American issue, it's not a China issue. It's everybody's doing the same thing at the same time. And this is just one way for the authorities to try to control where that fiat goes. Because if you actually buy real Bitcoin, then it's out of their purview. But if you buy a BlackRock or a China AMC ETF, perfectly within their view to see what's going on, who owns what, and make sure that when the time comes, that money is subject to taxation via inflation as well. I would say all the dog money coins, the Doge coins, the Shiba Inu, dog with hat, like literally, if you take the collective dog money ecosystem, it's probably market cap of, I don't know, close to $100 billion. Like, these things are literally like so stupid and hilarious at the same time. And they're worth all this money, and they trade, hundreds of millions of dollars a day of trading volume. It's BBC people who've taken their shitty fiat paper shit money and said, I'm going to buy this fucking dog picture on the internet. And this dog picture is going to be worth a lot of money. And some people have made generational wealth buying and holding fucking dog money. Like, it's hilarious. I think that it just shows the worthlessness of this thing called fiat money, and the extreme that what was a great invention at the time, probably back a few hundred years ago when governments started using paper money, has now become this perversion where everyone is just racing to print as much of it as possible and degrade the value of human labor in the countries in which it's printed. So obviously the Solana ecosystem is super vibrant, super vocal, having a lot of fun trading. And the coin's gone from, I think, $7 at the FTX lows, and now it's 110 or whatever it is. I think there's a lot of energy there. I ultimately think Solana is a dog shit blockchain. Doesn't matter. But people like to trade it. People are vocal about it. People hate it and love it. And you want energy, you want pathos. That's what you're trading. You're trading the human emotion as evidence in the chart. And so I love Solana as a trading vehicle. The great thing about crypto is because it's such a free market that's devoid of all of the central bank fuckery, it actually trades pretty technical, and it trades very on a human psychological level. Big numbers like 100 mean something, or 200 or 250, right? That, and in an abstract way mean nothing at all, but it's a bunch of humans trading against each other, and without any manipulation, they're going to veer on these particular points. So I love trading things like this. So I think as my favorite trading shitcoin, definitely really Solana. I'll be trading it up and down, sideways, whatever, throughout the whole cycle. I always tell people in crypto, everybody's trying to fuck you. Don't trust anyone. And I think if you go into it with that mindset where, okay, someone tells you something, you're not going to call them a liar to their face. Say, oh, thank you very much. And then you go back and you verify that statement on your own. Don't take anyone's word for anything, no matter who they are, or what program you saw them on, or Vitalik loves them, or they claim they were Satoshi, whatever. It doesn't matter. Do your own research, and you'll save yourself a lot of issues. And if you feel like in the pit of your stomach, that doesn't really feel right, I don't know why, just don't do it. There's no one who's forcing you to click that last confirm on MetaMask, who's forcing you to put your password in to a site that you don't recognize, who's forcing you to click on that email phishing link, right? That is something that, you just have to listen to yourself. And I think that most people have the common sense to know when something just doesn't really feel right. If you don't understand something, don't do it. That's how you avoid most of the mistakes in crypto and most of the people trying to scam you and steal your money. If we want to maintain the progress of, super hard crypto money, then we're going to have to become active. The best part about owning Bitcoin and why the community is so strong is because people care about it and they do things. Now, BlackRock is a apathetic money manager. They don't do anything. They collect assets and charge a fee and sit on them. They're passive. So they're not going to do good things and they're not going to do bad things. But they're not going to have Bitcoin move out of their custody. And maybe there's some bond or something they buy. I doubt it. But that Bitcoin is just going to sit there. So the more Bitcoin they accumulate, the more Bitcoin that's never going to move and never going to do anything. Obviously the large whales in Bitcoin, they're not spending money all the time, but if you take a look at what the investments of people like Roger Ver and the Winklevi and some of the other large Bitcoin holders were doing back 10 years ago, they were investing in companies, giving people Bitcoin to build services to create an ecosystem that made the Bitcoin that they still retain more valuable. Is BlackRock going to do that? Absolutely not. They're going to sit on the Bitcoin and charge a management fee. So it's the same problem with capital markets where passive index investing is killing price discovery, because you invest in a company, you invest in an index, and the index invests in the highest valued stock, whether or not that stock earns its rate of return. Similar things could happen with Bitcoin. It's up to us to actually do stuff with the network and things like ordinals, where people are, bringing JPEGs to Bitcoin. I think it's a great thing. I know some people think it's trash that's on the blockchain, but at least we're using it. If ordinals are the only thing that keeps people using Bitcoin and spending Bitcoin, that's the best thing, because now we have the miners have income in Bitcoin for people using the network that they're there to upkeep, versus BlackRock and other asset managers. All they want to do is sit on assets and charge a fee.
So there's Arthur Hayes with his bold predictions and insightful analysis, giving us a glimpse into Bitcoin's potential for monumental growth. His vision of a supercycle driven by technology and money printing offers an intriguing perspective on the future of crypto. Throughout his interview, Hayes shares straightforward insights on factors that could drive Bitcoin's market cap to multi-trillion-dollar levels. His discussion on the potential impact of a spot Bitcoin ETF and the current market cycle provide valuable takeaways for investors. In conclusion, Arthur's outlook underscores Bitcoin's transformative potential and serves as a guide for navigating the evolving crypto landscape. Before we go, a quick reminder for those who are keen on staying ahead in the fast-paced world of crypto and Bitcoin. Consider subscribing to our daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis trusted by over 50,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Click the first link in the description to join our community and elevate your crypto investment knowledge today. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.